So now let's learn how to do stereoscopic rendering inside of Cinema 4D. So to do stereoscopic rendering, first of all, I'm going to bring in an object, something like a capsule right here. And I'm going to create copies of this by using cloner. So I don't want to have vertical cloning here. I want to have let's say cloning in x-axis, just like this, so that I have many over here. So let me just increase the count over here and decrease the level of effect. Right, there you go. So just increase the count just like this. So you can see that I have a lot of objects now. So what I can do right now is, now I need to bring in a camera. So you can directly bring in a 3D camera, but if you have already used a regular camera and then animated using it, so you don't have to bring in stereo camera again. So bringing this and changing it into a 3D camera is the same. So I'm just going to select the regular camera, and to turn it into 3D camera, even after I add an animation, I simply need to go to the stereoscopic tab, and over here I need to change the mode from mono to symmetrical, and once you do that, that's a 3D camera. But here you don't see any difference yet. Let me just see from the camera viewport itself. You don't see any difference yet because I haven't enabled stereoscopic rendering yet. So to enable stereoscopic rendering, first of all, let's test it out without anything. So if I were to render it outright, that even the 3D camera does nothing. So you have to enable stereoscopic rendering. And to do that, you go over here onto the settings, and over here you go to stereoscopic right over here. So let me just enable this out. Once you do that, default anaglyph mode of stereoscopic rendering actually gets enabled. So if I were to render this out now, you'll be able to see that there's anaglyph rendering right over there. So regular anaglyph. There's also other modes that you can do it. So there's side by side right over here. So if I were to play it, it renders it on side by side basis, just like this. And if we were to go over here onto the interlaced, it goes for a more interlaced type of a rendering right over here for those type of displays. So 3 type of rendering right here. But whenever you actually render it out for a real-time production, it's actually not suggested to use these, but it is suggested to use a single channel rendering right over here. So individual channel rendering right here, not single, sorry. Individual channel rendering with two channel. And we're going to look how that works in a while. For now, we're going to stick to regular type of rendering, that is merge rendering, and we're going to stick with anaglyph. So now, right over here in the viewport, you don't see any 3D rendering going on. So whenever you're working with the settings, maybe you want to see that in the viewport as well. To do that, you can go to option right here, and you can enable stereoscopic. And once you do that, you see the anaglyph rendering right over here as well. So now you can go to the camera. Mind that you have to be on the camera viewport for this one because it's the camera setting. And so you go to the camera, and over here you can work around with the eye separation right here, as you can see right here. So you can work around with the eye separation right here. So 6.5 was the normal one, and here's the parallax effect right over here. So you can increase and decrease the parallax effect. So you can see that that actually changes how you see the object. So usually what you want to do is you want the farther object to actually stay together and the nearer object to have much of differences like this. So parallax, 0 parallax is there. So you can increase the eye separation. That will increase the level of 3D effect you get. So you really get good level of 3D effect if you were to do this. So based on your rotation, so if you have to select the object based on the rotation, you can see that the anaglyph actually works out just like that. So mind that you have to make sure that the nearer object is at a much more difference than those at a farther object. So more of a proper 3D scene just like this. So once you're happy with the level of effect, you can also try using a 3D glass to actually see it, or what you can do is you can go over here and preview this out and use a 3D glass as well. Or if you want to see the level of effect, you can also use other things like side by side if you have if you have that type of a monitor, or even interlace if that is what your monitor supports, and it'll be generated just like this. So now it's time to render out. So in order to render out, I'm going to go to my render settings just like this. And instead of going on to merge stereoscopic image, in order to preserve full quality, I'm going to go over into individual channels. And the channels is going to be 2 because one is for the left channel and one is for the right channel. I don't need to do anything else. And then I need to go to shape right here. So if you have multiple level of animations, then it creates multiple level of files. So I'm going to go to save now and then go to file right over here, and I'm going to create a new file on my desktop right over here. So on the desktop, create a new folder, and inside this I'm going to say 3D. So this is going to be my file name. So once I save it, now I'm ready to render this out. This will be rendering out 2 channels, and if I were to press render, you can see that it has generated the image. So it does look like a regular mono image, but if I were to go over here onto my desktop, and if I were to go here, you'll be able to see that there are 2 images right over here. One is for the left and one is for the right. So if I were to double click and open this out, you can see that this is the image, and if I were to press next, you can see that this is the left channel image and this is the right channel image right over here. So you can take this into softwares like After Effects or Premiere and then turn it into a side-by-side or an anaglyph or even an interlace video interlace 3D stereoscopic video according to what you wish. So you got more control over the 3D footage if you render it out like this. So that is how you can render out that stereoscopic images from Cinema 4D. So hope you guys learned something as always, and as always, please like, comment, share and subscribe.